Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to tonight's dinner. I'm delighted to be here at the Bloomberg headquarters and co-host this event. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here with all of you. It's great to see so many familiar faces, but also to get the opportunity to meet new potential partners because we're always looking to have additional partnerships here in the US. So this year, Mubadala and Bloomberg are convening in multiple locations to share the perspectives, as Eric was mentioning, and to discuss with the global investment community the risks and opportunities that are facing us and impacting us in a different way, I would say. As a global sovereign investor and asset manager that is based in Abu Dhabi, we are certainly not immune to the current market challenges, especially in a country that has for a long time has been relying on hydrocarbon and the related industries as a foundation for its economy. At Mubadala, what we have done is that we have taken this foundation and we have built a strategy around that. That strategy dates back to 2002, which was essentially built around a number of pillars. We wanted partnerships. You've seen some of those in the video. We wanted to have long-term investments. We wanted to essentially diversify the economy of Abu Dhabi, and we wanted to integrate it with the global economy and position it in such a way that by 2030 it has a bigger role than it currently has. All that with a view that we want to diversify, as I mentioned, the economy and create opportunities for the future generations. Mubadala Investment Company itself is a result of the merger of three different companies, three different investment companies in Abu Dhabi. Mubadala Development Company, the International Petroleum Investment Company, and recently we've added the Abu Dhabi Investment Council. So that essentially consolidates 3 out of the 4 investment vehicles that exist in Abu Dhabi, the fourth one being, of course, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, or ADIA, and I'm sure that a lot of you know ADIA, and they're quite large. Mubadala today has over $225 billion of consolidated assets under management. We benefit from significant scale, and we have broader reach across the world, and we have global partners in a number of industrial sector, and we also have a number of partnerships with asset managers and other sovereign wealth funds. Our portfolio itself is quite diversified. It's also adequately liquid, and we look to make sure that any commercial opportunity that arises, we are able to jump on that and essentially invest as long as this is aligned with our strategy. We are a global investor and we operate worldwide. Our mandate is not too dissimilar from other sovereign wealth funds, so we try to balance risks and returns. But what's different about Mubadala is that we are a lot more flexible. What that means is that when there are opportunities and when there are dislocations in the market, we're generally able to address those, to invest in those, and essentially take advantage of these situations. As we are tonight in the United States, the United States in itself is one of the major destinations and one of the biggest investment destinations for Mubadala. We've invested quite significantly across a number of business sectors, in real estate, for example, both commercial and residential, in technology, in data centers, in petrochemicals, as you have seen on the video, and also in pharma and in medtech. So we have also numerous financial investments with a number of asset managers in funds and in capital markets. Last year, we opened our office in San Francisco and to address essentially our ventures business. This gets us closer to our investment, to the investment community, to our investment partners, be they venture capitalist or private equity manager, and also closer to our investee companies. Our aim is essentially to look at founder-led businesses and try to invest in the various rounds of equity build-up. We're also proud to confirm that we have also opened an office here in New York. Our office is led by Kevin Coco, who's sitting here, and we have 14 people now on the ground. Again, the role of this office is to do deal origination, to help us in fundraising, and to meet the legal and compliance requirements that we have for that, as well as realize potentially new opportunities. We're also lucky to have Dr. Tom Caulfield, who's CEO of Global Foundries. Eric just introduced Global Foundries, so I'm not going to do that myself. But one thing that I would add is the Malta fab that you have seen on the video is probably one of the most advanced semiconductor manufacturing facilities in the world. So it's up here in upstate New York. But let me turn to tonight's topic, which is about long-term capital, and let me share my perspective essentially from a Mubadala standpoint. There is no doubt that 2019 is shaping up to be a very, I would say, rocky year. We are seeing unpredictable growth in both the mature market as well as in the emerging markets. We have seen volatility in a lot of the commodity prices, and that impacts us in Abu Dhabi particularly. And there are complex regional and global geopolitical dynamics at play. If you look at the Eurozone, I mean, I'm not going to talk about Brexit. You probably have heard quite a lot. We've seen in the recent European election how the traditional parties have kind of disintegrated and new waves are created. So all of that is really creating disruptions, and it's challenging the established foundation and some of the economic assumptions that have been made in the past. Trade protectionism is also on the rise, and most notably is the US-China situation. That's also playing a role in rattling the business community, and the markets, as we have seen, are reacting to that, and generally speaking, being also quite volatile. In our region, in the Middle East, we have seen a number of small-scale conflicts, but they're all could degenerate into larger ones, and this is also putting investors off to a certain extent. And across nearly every sector in the economy, we're seeing the power of the disruption that technology is bringing. So what does that all mean for us, and how do we navigate all these challenges? There's no doubt that the role of long-term finance, be it provided by financial institution, be it provided by the capital markets, by sovereign wealth fund, or by investors like us, or institutional investors, have never been more important than now. Fundamentally, long-term financing and long-term capital is strengthening global capital flows and trade, and it also allows economic progress to continue, and it provides an enabler to create the foundation for meaningful and sustainable growth. For Mubadala, we see an enormous opportunity from that, and we will use our existing portfolio, which now spans about 50 countries globally, to build on that on that opportunity. With the focus on technology, we are continually asking how we identify long-term opportunities in emerging or disrupted markets, how these technologies that are dismantling barriers create new global champions, and how we can participate with those global champions as capital provider and as provider of additional benefits that Mubadala can bring to the table. Realizing these opportunities mean that we have to deploy capital in ways that are not traditional to the sovereign wealth funds. So that's why we have created these offices in San Francisco, in New York, and in London also, that are at the forefront of the investment cycle. So we are right there out with the business. We're identifying the opportunities. We're dealing directly with the investors, with the companies, and making sure that we are able to capitalize on these opportunities. For Mubadala, the strategic imperative is to directly develop our presence in these markets and in these sectors, and be with key partners across the value chain. And where we see long-term growth potential and alignment with the Abu Dhabi priorities, which are, as I mentioned before, diversification, the creation of opportunities for the future generation, and the preservation of wealth for the nation. Our operations here in the United States are the prime examples of this strategy in action. I will now hand over to Mark Wiseman and Eric Schatzer, who will share their thoughts on the topic as well. And I also wish to wish you an enjoyable dinner, and hope that tomorrow, during this evening and tomorrow, we'll have an opportunity to essentially share additional thoughts. Thank you.